All right, hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. How is it going? So yeah, we're going to get into what we'll be working on here in just a second. But first I want to remind everyone that Gunforged is available for sale. It's a great way to support my work. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. The link for that is in the description below. And also, I have my Udemy courses available. This one is the Survivor Style course. And it's got thousands of reviews, thousands of ratings. So if this is something that you're interested in, if you want to learn how to make complete games in the Godot engine, this is a great way to get started and also a great way to support me. So again, all those links are in the description below. And yeah, let's get right into it. So what are we doing today? That's a good question. So yesterday I was working on the artifacts. We added a new artifact that adds crit chance to minions. And I was thinking we'll probably maybe create a couple more artifacts as well today. And that's going to involve the art and everything like that. So we'll see. But yeah, I've got this placeholder artifact up here. If I go into the combat, got this placeholder artifact. We still need a name for it. We need a icon as well. Minion crit chance is increased by 20%. So yeah, we'll, excuse me, we'll figure that out in a second. But yeah, hello iCode Stuff, welcome back. Hello Abith, how are you doing? Rookie Tookie, hello, welcome, welcome. Hello Gregors, I have a question. Do you see any reason to use groups in Godot? Some custom array with objects? Groups and autoload looks much better for me, autocomplete, etc. I mean, I think groups are useful. I use groups like, you know, like in Gunforged, the player exists in the player group, so it's really easy to get a reference to the player from wherever. And the nice thing about groups is that it's automatically managed for you. So if you add a node to a group and then that node gets freed or removed from the tree in any way, that group, that node disappears from the group basically. So if I try to get to the player by its group name and the player is like currently not in the tree for whatever reason, I'll get a null reference, which is great because that means that when you get a node by a group, you're guaranteed that it exists if it returns something. Whereas if you're doing like a custom array with objects, you have to manage that state yourself. So yeah, I would say groups are very useful. Azir! Stop! He's sitting outside of my office just meowing repeatedly. What? Come here. Come here. What are you doing? Every morning. Every morning. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back. Hello, Snupbill Yummers. Welcome, welcome. Always good to have you here. My hair is annoying me. Yeah, Fire Kitty, here he is. He decided to come up and get some attention instead of screaming from the other room, right? You look like that meme with the cat with the newspaper. I should get a job. Right? Are you gonna be calm now? Okay. You gonna be calm now? Do you ever see yourself making a small game dev team? We'll see. It's not like a, you know, a solid plan of mine. We'll have to see how everything goes. I mean, I think the ideal situation is if I could just make money doing solo dev, and I'll probably just stick with that. Sounds like my cat, yeah. You might want to get auto toys for your cat. Well, my cat doesn't like toys. He likes playing with me. He wants to play with me. I can give you more interesting attention than any toy ever could, right, buddy? Right? Can Fire Kitty code? He cannot, no. He's Mooch. He is freeloader. Hello, Ollie. Welcome, welcome. All right, so let me do something real quick. It's a little dark. Scoot, go. Okay, is that better? Oh, goodness. I think that's much better. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this then. Still need a name for this minion crit chance. I don't know what to call it though. That's the thing. I don't know what to call it. I just hate how we pass a lot of info through Godot API through strings. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, what you could do is you could put your group names as like constants or whatever in a script and use that. But yeah. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know what this relic should be, actually. Let's just go ahead and start drawing something, maybe. Open file. Assets. Here we go. All right, let's create a new one. I don't know what to call this though, but I figure let's just start drawing and see what's what. So I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna do like a little skull on a stick. I'm gonna try a little skull on a stick and we're gonna see how it works. I gotta be mindful of my boundaries here. I think I can wow. I don't think I can go any farther up from this because I need 1 pixel for the outline and then 2 pixels for the highlight. So I think that's good. Okay. Just trying to figure out how to do the nose now. I think I've got myself in a bad spot. That might be okay, actually. Okay. We'll just go with that for now. This is gonna look really funny, actually. Okay, we'll try this. We'll see how this goes. We will see how this goes. Let's do that. Okay, I think that's fine. I think that's okay. Trying to think, how do I want to do this? Can I use this? Oh, that looks kind of good, actually. Not a whole lot of options for shading on the skull here, I don't think. I could also alternately make this a lot thicker, this shadow. But I don't think that looks nearly as good. I think that's probably okay. Is there anything else that I want to do with this? I don't know. Hello, Ito Makes Games. Welcome. I like black outlines. Some guys say don't do it, but I don't let that bother me at all. Yeah, I mean, I think it can absolutely be a really good choice stylistically. I think whether you do outlines or no outlines is mostly just a matter of your personal preference, really, and what you're going for with your game. But I don't think there's there shouldn't be a hard and fast rule about it, you know what I mean? It's just whatever style suits your game the best, you know? I do like outlines too, though. I think it makes the art look a lot more bold. Welcome, by the way, Fat Kid Games. Fat Kid Games. I don't know if I welcomed you. All right, let's see. So we've got this. I think I have a name for this now. We'll call this Skull Wand. I think that turned out pretty decent. Not too shabby. Yeah, that's better. Cool. All right, so we got our skull wand now. So I'll go ahead and export that. And then we got to copy this here. And we'll paste that in there. Make unique. Okay, and then we can change this region. Oops. I copied the wrong thing. Copy that. Paste that. Make unique. Then edit this region. 24 by 24. There we go. Is that off center? Yeah, it's a little bit off center. Okay, and we'll call this Skull Wand. Nice. Let's see how that looks in game. Nice. Very cool. I'm gonna make one other change here. Instead of using the word crit, I'll use the word critical. All right, so I still need a whole way of acquiring artifacts in the game. They're functional and I have a framework for building them, but what I don't have is a framework for having the player acquire them. So like I said, I still need to do some kind of artifact event, I think, a place where you can actually loot an artifact, and I'll have to think about that some more. But also I want the shop to sell artifacts too. So if you imagine these little artifact icons, those will be present in the shop container right here on these spaces. So the plan is to have the shop offer 2 artifacts every time you visit the shop, and those will sit on the rug here. So I got this artifact container here. You can imagine like the artifact sitting there and also there. And so those will be available for purchase as well. So the shop is going to be loaded with all kinds of stuff you can purchase. It's basically just like it's an opportunity to engage in events that you may not have gotten during the run, or get some extra cards, or get some artifacts. And of course, the artifacts are probably going to be the most expensive thing on the shop here. So you're going to be incentivized to fight as many combat encounters as possible if you want to build up your library of artifacts. Hello, Yeet. Welcome back. But I think that that's looking good, so I'm actually going to go ahead and commit that. So finish minion crit chance artifact. Let me take a look at my notes here, and let's see if we can come up with another artifact to work on. So let's see. Oh, I can finish this one. Done. Okay. So where we got going on here? Artifacts. I already did this one. All X cards are generated 1 tier higher. After each combat insert, specialized minion card is created. That would be an interesting one. I was thinking like of doing something like a spider egg or something. And every time you finish a combat, it could add like a 1/1 spider into your inventory that's like a minion, and maybe it has some poison damage or something. And I was thinking of doing something. Well, the benefit of doing this, right? So the plan with this artifact is the way that you upgrade cards is you need to combine 2 cards that are of the same base type. So if you want to upgrade a skeleton, you have to have 2 skeleton cards, and they need to be the same tier, right? And so my idea for this artifact was this would be an easy way of generating a card that's easy to upgrade. So you could fill your inventory with spiders and then go to a bunch of upgrades and like upgrade them constantly. So you could end up with like a tier 4 little spiderling, and that would just like be an easy way of getting something that's super powerful. But I also have some ideas to maybe add some kind of consumption mechanic. The other benefit too is that these could be used at the altar to sacrifice, to resurrect. So you could just store these spiders as things you could offer up to the altar to resurrect, and they'd be relatively inexpensive to do so. So I think that this is actually a really interesting one. And there is a problem here though, which is that this is going to be a little bit interesting if I do this one, because let's say that your inventory is full. I can't just put the spider in the inventory, so I need like an extra screen or an extra UI element that will present to me like overflow cards so I can choose what to do with them, right? Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to end up in a situation where you're losing out on cards for whatever reason because your inventory is full. I always want to present the player the opportunity to do something with the card, even if you're just immediately selling the card, right? So that's one of the reasons why that sell board is always visible here, is because if your inventory is full and you get a new card option, I don't allow you to skip choosing a card. That's not a thing. So if you want to skip choosing a card, you just drag it into the sell and you get money from it, right? So that simplifies things very greatly, but it also rewards the player with some currency rather than just straight up skipping, right? So yeah, I think that's, but that's going to be interesting because yeah, if the inventory is full, obviously if the inventory isn't full, I can just go ahead and put the spider in the next available spot. But if it is full, then yeah, I got to come up with a UI way of handling that. Probably some kind of generic UI way of doing that, because I'm probably going to have other events that are going to generate cards. So I almost need a way of like queuing up and a concept of like dealing with an overflow card that needs to be dealt with. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead and start that adventure though. Why don't we? So let's go ahead and create an artifact for the spider egg. Spider egg artifact. This is going to be a 2-part, so I'm going to need to create a new card, which is the spider. And this is actually going to feed into some other systems too, because right now the loot tables that give you cards are just reading all of the cards that are available. But now I'm getting into the concept of like this spider should only be acquirable through the spider egg or maybe some other event. It shouldn't be added to the loot pool. So now I have to add that configuration as well to exclude that item from the loot pool. Yeah. So so this is actually, this is how I like to make my games, is like come up with a new whatever feature or piece of content that not only stretches the code that I've already written, but also requires a reworking of existing systems. And this is just a really good way of building up that framework that you need to make your games. So anyway, that's my opinion anyway. So let's do spider egg. After each combat, add a 1x1 spider to inventory. So I think that's going to be a really interesting one. So let's start with the functionality, and then we'll go from there. Good morning, Chris. When can we expect the next code review? I'm loving those. Yeah, so I actually just recorded the next code review yesterday. I'm going to take this afternoon to edit that, and it should be available tomorrow morning. I watched the VOD from yesterday and had a question. When you have an artifact for increased crit, when you mouse over a card, it automatically adds the base crit with the artifact. Is there a way to just see the card base stats? So first of all, welcome back, Adam. Good to see you. Good morning to you. And also, no, there isn't currently a way to see the card base stats, but I was kind of like debating whether I want to do that or not, or if I just want to show only, because like, if the crit chance is always based on just whatever artifacts you have going on plus whatever enchantments you've added or whatever, I don't think there's any use in seeing the base stat of the card. I guess you would be curious, like, by exactly how much are you increasing the crit with your bonuses. So maybe that could be useful, but I just figured, yeah, showing like what the stat is would be fine, but I don't know, what does the rest of you think? Do you think it would be useful to see the base stats? Even though the base stat would never be used for anything other than just curiosity, right? It's like there is no game mechanic that's going to only use the base critical chance and ignore the accumulated critical chance. So, because when you alchemy, it combines the bases, not the added together values, or that would be insane. Oh, right, that's a good point. Yeah, it does use the base value. Okay, well, yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind. You don't need to answer that question. It probably is important to see the base stats for alchemy. Dang, Adam understands my game better than I do. It's a very good point, Adam. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that for sure. Hey, I'm in the middle of your C# course right now, and I'm enjoying it. Do you plan to release any code architecture courses or more C# courses? Not necessarily, no. The course that I'm working on right now, which is almost done, is an online cooperative multiplayer course in GDScript. So unfortunately, none of those types of courses that you mentioned are in the works. But welcome to the stream. What software? This is Obsidian with the Obsidian Kanban community plugin. Hello, Kinyaz. Made a decision to skip classes today. Very nice. Very nice. I skipped a lot of classes in college as well. It's okay. It's all right. Maybe make a stat a different color, and when you mouse over it, show the addition. Yeah, I could do something like that. Hello, the friendly foe. Welcome. Someday I will quit my ways of ripping off tutorials and actually learn Godot. Someday. Someday. You'll get there. All right, let's go ahead and start with the spider egg artifact. This is going to be a fun one, I think. There's going to be a lot of different systems going on in here. We will just make a new placeholder texture again. After each combat, adds, let's do adds a spiderling to your inventory after each combat. Let's do combat encounter. Okay, so you got the spider egg. Let's go ahead and go into the artifacts now. GD or C Sharp? The course is in GD script, the new one. Okay, before I figure out how to actually get this artifact working, let's also create a spiderling card. Oops, I already have Asebrite open. Hello, cat. Are you done being ridiculous? He just spent the past 10 minutes sprinting around the house. Are you tired out now? Are you tired out? Goodness gracious. You have too much energy, buddy. Okay, so assets, card, background. Let's take the 1x1 here. Let's go ahead and save this card. I'm going to just create a spiderling. Spiderling.png. Okay. Load default palette. And let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do here. How do I want to do this? I don't have a lot of space, so this is going to be interesting. I don't have a lot of space. Okay, I just like completely reconstructed. Okay, whatever. Let's try this. I think I'm gonna have to do something like this, actually. Probably should have turned on symmetry, I guess. See, the problem here is that makes it look like the spider has 3 body segments instead of 2, which is a problem. I don't think this is working. I don't think this is working at all. So let's try a different perspective, maybe. Don't the legs... Wait, the legs don't come out of this part of the spider. They come out of, like, here. Right? Hold on. Well, I won't pull up the spider images on the stream. I just want to see... Yeah, they come out of this part of the body. Okay. Okay. I think that's going to be okay. Oh, goodness. Well, we'll see how it goes. Have you ever used ChatGPT to solve your GDScript bugs? Not GDScript, no, but I've used it for debugging C#. Hello, Nate Mercer. Hold on a second. Long-time watcher, first-time chatter. I'm at a bit of a crossroads. I'm moving to Godot and unsure if I want to use GDScript or C#. I'm used to Java and the syntax with C#. Yeah, I mean, you can use C# for sure. I don't think there's a huge difference between them. Yeah, it's true. So I think if you already have programming experience, then GDScript is easy to pick up. But you can also use C# if you're more comfortable. So what you can do is you can start with GDScript, get a handle on how Godot wants you to use it, and then you can always switch to C# later. So, yeah, I mean, I think just, you know, especially if you're just doing a tutorial, it's not really, you know, a huge investment to say, well, I'm going to go into GDScript first and try that out, and then if you like it, you can stick with it, and if you don't, you can always use C#. But yeah, I don't think there's my opinion is it's not that big of a decision unless you are making a game and you need to like commit to which one you want to use. But for tutorials, I would encourage you to experiment a little bit and see how each one goes. Are you going to do a big project in GDScript, or is C# just that much faster, more comfortable? I might in the future, I'm not sure, but I mean, the game jams that are coming up, I'll be doing in GDScript for sure. So yeah. Yes, that is true. Yeah, the syntax is definitely similar. Drop from the side. Well, we're trying. C# was created as a Microsoft option for Java since it was closed in 50s. What? Joke. Thought it was axolotl. I noticed you get locked in for longer when drawing compared to coding. Yeah, that's true. The first approach was good enough. Maybe. I mean, thank you, Emmanuel, but I don't know. Welcome to the stream, by the way. C#, the sharp is for 4 pluses. Oh, interesting. C++++. All right. Let's see. So the problem is I also need to do like these outlines here. And that's gonna kind of affect how the spider looks. But maybe it's okay. The legs are not going to stay red, so don't worry about that. Oops. Okay. All right. Okay. Now the legs, what color do I want to make the legs? Do I want to make them? No, I don't want to do that. Can't use purple necessarily because this is a little bit too dark. So maybe I'll just stick with, oops. Stick with this color maybe. And maybe I could just do that. That might work. Shoot. This isn't working. Can mix match GD script in C# too? It's not a big deal, yeah. What if you only draw the face of the spider? Yeah, that might be a good approach. That might be a good approach. Like a gazillion eyes, yeah. Yeah, let's try that. I just don't have a whole lot of room, so if I do the face instead, that could definitely be a better approach. Let's see. I'm just gonna get the eyes in place. Get the, what you call it? What are they called? The pedipalps, something like that. This might be too big. It might be a little bit too big. Okay, let's try again with smaller eyes this time. Shoot, I'm gonna end up with the same problem, I think. Well, let's see. Is that right? That doesn't look good either. Shoot. Who knew spiders could be so hard to draw? I mean, what I could do is I could... Let's see. Let's fill that in. Nope. Nope. It's not working. It's not working. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I can't draw spiders, apparently. The black dot over the back leg throws me off. Maybe darker blue there. Give it some tooth. I don't have enough room for that. I mean, for context, my drawable space here is 12 by 12. I have a 12 by 12 area where I can draw. I never had a problem with that. Oh, yeah. Pedipalps. I don't know if that's what they're called, but let's see. The only annoying thing is marshalling to variant sometimes, but if you use C# and Godot, you should know that how it works anyway. Yeah. Looks like a wasp. Yeah, it did look like a wasp. Appreciate the advice. I'll make some small projects with GDScript and see how it feels. Yeah. Yeah, it should be fine. Reminds me more of an ant than a spider face, yeah. First one was the best because they're supposed to be freshly hatched baby spiders. This one, or this one here. Ran out of cabanos. I don't know what that is. Chill time is over. Make a spider eye from Minecraft or something. This pixel art conundrum is making me think about using 20 by 20 borders, so when I draw the inventory items, I have full 16 by 16. Yeah, you do have to account for like the padding that you want, because one of the things about this is that, you know, I'm using black as a separator between objects and also the frame here, so what I'm not allowed to do is I'm not allowed to place a pixel like that. I always have to maintain a 1 pixel border on the interior, but then any objects sort of in the art here need to be separated by black as well. So that's why there's outlines around the legs. I mean, this, I could probably make this look okay. I just need to figure out a better way of doing it, I think. So if I did this, maybe I could bring this down this way, get rid of that there, and I can build this back in. That might work. Don't want to do that though. Or do I want to do that? Interesting conundrum. What happens if I use red? I'm just going to play around with some colors here. I could make the, well, let's see. Does changing the color of the legs help? The very first? I don't like the first one either. I don't like this one, or at least how it was turning out. I'm good, Arion. How are you doing? Starting those items from yesterday, if you remember, system fully complete. Now I just got to actually make them. It's coming together though. TY for the advice. You're welcome. I do like that one too though. Yeah, I mean maybe just a little bit of finessing I can get this to work better. I don't know. I wonder if I just like added, can I add like a little web up here? That does not read as a web at all. Oh, can't touch the edges. Interesting. That does not read as a web at all. Oh man, what am I gonna do? Do you really need a spider? Yes, I do. Heimerdinger. That's good, at least it looks like a spider. I mean, it's fine. I could do better, but I guess not right now. Looks kind of like those crustaceans with shells in their backs. I forget the name. Hermit crabs? Right above spider, yeah. I think you should have legs and body be touching. Just make them different colors. I don't think that's going to work, because there's not going to be enough contrast between a lot of the parts. And it also doesn't fit the style of the rest of the art. But good suggestion. Legs and body should overlap. Make webs below his feet, a hermit crab. Okay, one more thing. One more try. We're gonna do one more try. We're gonna do one more try. We're going to do a mixture of a couple of different things here. I realize that there's not 8 legs here, but you're going to have to let me take some artistic liberty. I could potentially even just like squeeze something in here though. No, it's not going to work. Okay. I think I'm going to abandon the idea of 8 legs. These might need to be closer. Let's see. Oh, I can't make them closer. Okay. Make this a little bigger, I think. That's probably all right. Could do a big fat bulbous butt. Big fat bulbous butt. Actually, I think that's nice. I like big spider butts. I like big spider butts and I cannot lie. Did I do it? Did I do it? Is that better? Whew! That's what we call getting in the zone. That's what we call clutch, right? Could always use this to start and come back. Yeah, I was tempted to do that. I wanted to try this last one, which I think turned out fine. Red hourglass on the back. Again, I don't know if I have the space for that. I guess I could kind of do that. Actually, it's kind of a cool design. Can I just like... Ooh, that kind of looks kind of cool. That kind of looks kind of cool, actually. Do we like that little design on the spider, or do we like it the way it was previously? I think that actually looks... Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. Like a Widowmaker, yes. I'm liking that one better, I can't lie. Which one? This one? Yeah. That's good, thank you, Manuel. That's nice. Now that's a spider. You don't need 8 legs. I wouldn't want 8 legs, yeah. Spider-Man does not have 8 legs either. Good point, good point. That's thinking outside the box right there. Make them look back diagonally. I'm not sure what that means exactly. You could have a spider, you could do spider upside down hanging from a single thread. Oh yeah, that would have been a good option too. Take a look at Spider-Man symbols. And I cannot lie, yes. I think that's the best one so far, thank you. Approved. You locked in for a second, way better. Definitely the best one, thank you. Yeah, ooh, best one. It looks like a spider, awesome. Would be creeped out if I saw that IRL, so that's a good thing. Cool. I think I do like that little design on there. It adds a little bit of flair. Okay. Yep, that's what we call locking in, everybody. Yep. It only took however many tries, but it's fine. The most important thing is that it's good now. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break. And then when I come back, we'll get that spider card created, which means that we're going to have to write a script for it. And then the purpose for creating the spider again is for this spider egg artifact. So once the spider's all in the game, once the spider's all in the game, we'll go ahead and add the artifact and get the artifact working. So give me just 3 minutes. In the meantime, all the ways you can support me are linked in the description below. Very much appreciate you checking those things out, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Maybe when you get overflow cards, it opens like an extra inventory for you to rearrange and or sell stuff, but when you close the overflow inventory, anything left is lost. Yeah, that could be an approach for sure. Yeah, I was thinking though that like I said earlier, I don't think there's really any reason to have the player quote unquote lose anything, because at a bare minimum what you can do is you can sell everything. So but I guess it'll depend on what the players want in terms of like the user experience, but could even just add like a sell all button, like a quick sell. So rather than just like losing them, you at least get some money for them. Okay, so what am I doing? I need to add a spiderling card in here. Create new resource, card definition resource, spiderling, save spiderling in here. Okay, it's a 1x1 and it's a minion. Turn cooldown. Let's do 2, I suppose. Do we want to do 2? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now we need to create a spiderling card. Where is that? Data here. Okay. Simple damage and simple poison. I think I'm just going to do this, actually. So it's going to have the same abilities as the Viper, except I'm going to turn these way down. 1 damage and 1 poison. Yeah, I think that's fine. Getting quite a card library in here. All right, run manager. Okay, let's see what that looks like in game. And we'll see what we're doing. We will see what we're doing. Ah. There we go. There's the cute little spiderling. Isn't he cute? It's very cute. Deal 1 damage, apply 1 poison. And it's got 2 turns, so let's throw him on the board. I mean, this is guaranteed to work because it's just hooking into existing functionality, but we'll see how it looks anyway. Go! It critted for 1! That's hilarious. Maybe I should round that number up. Because everything in this game is integer based. There's no float in terms of like damage numbers and stuff. And so when the crit procs, if you're critting with a damage of 1, then if your crit multiplier is 1.5, then you're going to end up doing a damage of 1.5, which gets truncated back down to 1. So what I probably should do is round it up so you at least get some extra damage boost. But then the problem is that becomes a crit damage of 100%, right? So I wonder how I should handle that. I think I'll just keep it like, okay, yeah, so if you crit, it's still going to do just 1 damage, but at the same time, if I have other abilities that rely on crits, then it can still proc crit-based abilities, maybe. So maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I'll just keep that as a little quirk of my game. I've always been just like really, I don't know, like I like to keep the damage numbers low and I like to use whole integers. I don't know why, but I'm gonna stick with that. Is this the thing with the egg? Yeah, so this is the spider that's going to be spawned as a result of having the egg artifact. So the idea is that after each combat, you'll get a spiderling added to your inventory. And I'm sure there will be other uses for the spiderlings, but the main thing is that you'll be able to upgrade these very easily. So if you get like 4 spiderlings, you could upgrade all of them into a single spiderling that's, you know, tier 4 or whatever. And actually, that's interesting. How does simple damage scale? Scale for tier original, so it's a, oh, it's half. Make multiplier scalar. I think I want to change the way this is scaled. Let's do this. Float scale multiplier equals 0.5. Why does that always happen? Okay. Okay, now for the spiderling, I think what I can do is I can set this to 1. So I can specify the scaling now. I think that'll be fine. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Although, shoot. I'm gonna have to think about this. Do I want to do that? Do I want to open this can of worms? So this duplicates alchemy container. It's the alchemy system that I'm mostly worried about. Let's see what's going on in here. So abilities to get composed abilities. Okay, so there's just a problem here, which is that, so simple damage is a composed ability that just does simple damage. The problem though is that currently everywhere simple damage is used, it's sharing the same scale multiplier. But in this case now with the spiderling, I want to change the multiplier so that it scales harder, basically. And I'm trying to figure out if that's going to be a problem with my alchemy system, because if I take that spiderling and I put it, I alchemize it with something else, what's going to happen is that if I alchemize it with something else that has simple damage as well, they're going to have two different scale curves. Both simple damages are going to have different scale curves. So if I take a spider and I alchemize it with a tier 4, whatever else that has simple damage on it as well, every additional tier increases the simple damage by 50% by default, but for the spider's damage, which is alchemized onto the thing, it's 100% per tier, which is probably okay. I'm just wondering if that's going to be weird to have multiple different damages that are scaling differently. So I'm going to have to think about that. What I could do is I could somehow keep a log of, all of the cards that have been alchemized into the current card, so you could see like where the ability's coming from, and that would give you a hint as to what the scaling is doing. But is that going to be a problem? I don't think it's going to be a problem. It just might be a little bit weird. So I guess we'll keep it the way it is, but I'm going to want to do the same thing here. Oh, additive scaler. That's already good by default. Okay. All right. Anyway, I just have to be careful with a lot of this stuff to make sure I'm not doing anything that's going to be detrimental down the line. Let's see. Hello, Cass. Here's a crazy idea. What if you keep the remainders in a hidden variable, and when they're over a whole number, add that to the next crit? Yeah, that could work for sure. Yeah, and it'll all even out. That is an interesting idea. I may end up doing something like that. Tier 3 spider, 3 damage, 3 poison. There we go. Get him, spider. See, that crit for 4 now because 50% of 3 is 1.5, so it just adds 1. Yeah, maybe a hidden multiplier would be appropriate. That poison starts building up real quick, though, when you've got an upgraded spiderling. Oh, and I'm healing because of the poison. All poison damage dealt heals for the same amount. Nice. That combat victory animation is actually pretty satisfying. I'm very happy with that. So yeah, in the upgrade screen, if you had a bunch of spiderlings because you had combats, you could throw the spiderlings in here and get a free easy upgrade. So that's kind of the idea behind the card. Let's see if I win against this one. I'm probably not going to. That dog deals damage, 12 damage. And they're healing as well. Oh, I'm gonna win though. Goodbye. This spider is kicking everyone's butt. Will I win against this one? Probably, actually. Let's speed up the combat a little bit. Yeah, once that poison ramps up, I just become basically unkillable. Wow, that was a good one. All right, anyway. Enough playing games, we have to work. So, yeah, so the spiderling is good to go. So I actually am not going to add that there. I was just testing that. So now we got to figure out how to actually make this spider egg base artifact work. Let me commit what I have. Add spiderling card and base artifact. Start artifact. Probably a good sign if you keep getting sucked into playing your own game. Yeah, I think it is. I'm very optimistic. We'll see. Okay, so now for this base artifact here. What are we doing? What are we doing? What am I doing? So I need to figure out a way of knowing when... So we have on combat started, so I guess this would just be an easy way of doing this. Let's see. Where's this being called? So the problem is that it'd be easy enough to add a call to the artifact manager in here to trigger, you know, like on combat ended in here. So we have on combat started, but we could do like an on combat ended as well. The problem is I'm trying to think toward the future where I'm going to need to have like an overflow screen where if your inventory is full, it's that needs to be handled. Now maybe I could do that. Let me think. I could maybe create a different like API for that where I could say, okay, I'm going to try to add this card to the inventory, and if it doesn't work, then I'm just going to call back to the system and say, hey, here are these pending cards, right? So I just say add this to the pending cards list, and then I can elsewhere in the sort of flow of the game check if the pending cards list is not empty, and then trigger the sequence for dealing with those pending cards at that point. And so that would probably be somewhere along the lines of like maybe going back into the map, it would check, okay, you have pending cards here. And I think I can handle that as long as I have like a generic sort of system for handling that. I can do that within the spider egg artifact. So I should be able to do all of that. I don't think this is going to be an issue in that case. Where is combat ended emitted? Emit combat ended. Oh, that's emitted here. So combat ended, I'm probably actually going to need another... I'm probably going to need to emit like a combat victory signal as well. I'm not connecting to any signals in here. Why am I calling? So I'm calling these directly. I mean, that makes sense here. So that makes sense to call that directly. This needs to be called directly because the result needs to be awaitable. But in the case of combat victory, I don't think... Well, here's the other thing to consider too. I'm probably going to want to animate the card going over into the board as well. This is a little bit tricky. This is not the easiest thing to do in the world, but we'll figure it out. We'll do game events.instance.connect. Let's do... I'm going to do combat victory event handler. Public delegate void combat victory event handler. Did I do something wrong? Okay. Public static void emit combat victory. Okay. So in my run manager now, which I have closed, enter state combat victory. Let's just do game events.emit combat victory in there. Artifact manager, combat victory, callable.from on combat victory. On combat victory. Okay, before we go into that, in the base artifact, let's do public virtual void on combat victory. We'll take in the artifact context. Okay, so back in the artifact manager, for each of our artifact and artifacts, artifact.base artifact.on combat victory, create artifact context. And actually, we don't need to create that every time, so let's just do artifact context is equal to create artifact context. Okay. So now in the spider egg here, public override void on combat victory. So in here now, what I'm gonna need is I'm gonna need to create a card. How am I doing that? Let's see. Oh. Card loot table.pick cards. So this should be relatively easy. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do here. I think this should be relatively easy. Var spiderling is equal to card registry dot from ID, card registry dot card ID, or card ID dot spiderling. This returns a card definition resource. Card stats dot instance. Nope. How did I forget how to do this? New card stats. Base card dot from ID dot to base. What in the heck? To card instance is owned by player true. Why is this so convoluted? Why is this so who wrote this code? Anyway, so we've got our spiderling there. I think the next thing to do is what? I guess I have to check the player stuff. Player inventory board is equal to artifact context.scenetree.root.get board manager dot player get player inventory board. Var player board is equal to this. Let's do this. Board manager. Okay, all right. Here is an idea. A type of skeleton or skeleton ability that activates when the skeleton gets hit X amount of times, turning it into a 1x1 pile of bones, and it reflects back damage X amount of times. That is an interesting idea. The thing to be aware of in this game is that there's no card-to-card combat, really. There are some abilities that affect certain types of cards, in terms of like paralyzing them or preventing them from taking their turns, but there's no damage being done to individual cards. That said, it would be pretty easy to modify that and say, okay, well, once you've taken just as a board multiple different hits, then you can have a skeleton, a random skeleton turn into a pile of bones or something. So that's an interesting idea. Spider egg is going to be awesome for sacrifice fodder too. Yes, indeed. Yep. Hello, Coco Shell. Welcome back. Oh, a phoenix is a good idea. There you go. Should I do a phoenix? Hold on. Let me write that down. I don't think I've written a phoenix. How could I forget a phoenix? I really haven't written that. Phoenix. Referring to, it's actually the city in Arizona. Does have a burn mechanic. Yes, I do. I was thinking about the skeletons in Elden Ring. Oh, yeah. I've never played Elden Ring, but that's how the skeletons work in Zelda too. Interesting. Hello, Cordelius Mushroom. Welcome. Now I really want to make a phoenix. Well, there you go. Guess the cards themselves don't die, though, so that wouldn't work. Well, yeah, so I think the Phoenix mechanic could be interesting because it could be like the Phoenix has a certain number of like flame charges. Like it could do like really high flame application, but maybe it can only do like 2 turns before it goes dormant as like a pile of ash. And then it could either stay as a pile of ash for the remainder of the combat, so it's just like a quick burst thing, or maybe it just has a certain cooldown where it, before it can start attacking again. Or, you know, it could just be that, yeah, maybe it just does 2 applications of fire, or maybe it has a really long turn cooldown. Maybe it applies like 20 stacks of fire or something, but then it takes 8 turns for it to execute, and then after it applies its fire stacks, it's like done. You know what I mean? So it could be like, that would be an interesting thing to add too in terms of like the variety of the gameplay, having certain cards that can only execute X amount of times before going dormant. I think that that's a really interesting idea, actually. And a Phoenix would be a perfect application of that. Because then the idea is you could like build up a bunch of buffs that increase the number of fire stacks you apply and build that all up before the Phoenix goes. And then the Phoenix might apply a base fire stack of 20, but if you build up a bunch of buffs, it could do like 50 instead. You know what I mean? So yeah, that could be a really, really interesting mechanic. There's so much potential in this game, man. Ugh, I hope I don't fumble this. I hope I don't fumble this game. This is like one of the most creative and intriguing game ideas that I've ever worked on, and I would hate to just fumble it. It's too much pressure, man. Too much pressure. Why a necromancer have a phoenix though? Well, the game is not, it's not pure necromancy, it's also like medieval alchemy. So I'm mixing a bunch of different themes together. You've got like medieval alchemy, you've got necromancy, and like astronomy. What did I call it? Necromancy / alchemy / medieval science, right? So it's mixing all those things together. So like, yeah, your character's a necromancer and you deal in undeath, but then you also deal in alchemy and like other realms of like medieval science. And so like certain mythological creatures like a phoenix are kind of relevant to that alchemy theme. Small stack of fire, medium stack of fire, and then high stack that kills the phoenix for the rest of the match. Yeah, something like that for sure. Hello, Rin. Welcome back. Always good to see you. Welcome, welcome. They do have a similar theme overlap, yeah. That's true indeed. The phoenix could also heal, right? Isn't a phoenix supposed to heal? Anyway, so let's go back to this though. So we've got the board manager here, and we've got the spiderling. Artifact, context, scene tree, get board manager. Let's do this. We'll just say, well, to do add spiderling to overflow if inventories are full. Okay. So if not, let's do this. If not, player inventory board dot board inventory component dot Try place card at next available position, spiderling. Is not equal to true. And okay, that's a little bit long. Whatever. Whatever. So we'll just do this for now. So what this does is this returns a Boolean. So this will try to place the card at the available position. If there is no available position, it returns false. And so it will go and try to place the spider in the inventory board first. If that's full, then it's going to try to place it in the player board second. If both of those fail, for now, I'm just going to free the spiderling so it's not hanging around in memory. But this is where I'm going to want to trigger that overflow there. But that should be basically it. Let's go ahead and see artifact. Yeah, here, let's do this. Artifact ID. Did I add this? No. Spider egg. Thank you. All right, let's take a gander. He does in Harry Potter. Yes, yeah, that's where I'm getting it from. But I think Harry Potter is borrowing from the real mythology of it, right? Did you place the name in the cup? Are you going to focus fully on the game after the course is done, or start making another course? Longer streams could be cool. I am going to start focusing most of my efforts on this game and things related to this game. So doing devlogs for this game, developing the game, all that stuff. But yeah, I got to get the course done first, which is taking forever. I'm ready to be done with it, but that's okay. All right, let's just see. There's my spiderling. So we're gonna want to add an animation for that for sure. But yeah, we've got a spiderling now. That got added relatively easily, actually. And because it's a 1x1, it's, yeah, as long as there's an empty space, it's gonna be added. It's not like an odd shape, so it's gonna be fine. So there's still some animation, player informational work to do, I suppose, but let's just go ahead and get through this one as well. Oh, and did that add another spider already? Why did that add it so quick? Oh, I guess that makes sense. Let's see. So there should be another spiderling added, like down here, I think. There it goes. Yeah, so my inventory is just being populated with spiderlings now. There you go, that's how you add a new artifact. Follow me for more tutorials. I don't have a way of viewing artifacts in this screen either, so that's got to be fixed. Sweet. So that was, all things considered, relatively simple to add that functionality there. So now the last thing to do is to actually draw that artifact. That's the last thing to do, really. And I think it should be relatively easy, but I'm gonna probably eat my words. Spider eggs don't look like normal eggs. I think something like that will probably work. Yeah, something like that. And then of course I want to do, let's see, make it this color. Something like this. Now the question is, can I... Like typically when you see spider eggs in these kind of games, like they're surrounded by webs, right? So if I can do something similar, just kind of borrow that style. Okay. I think maybe I need to make this just how am I going to give the impression of this being like a web sack thing? That's a good question. How am I going to do that? Can I just do this instead? Nope, that's not going to work. Interesting. We have been met with another artistic conundrum. I actually think this is probably okay. Could be better. Can the spiderling like repel from the top of the screen? That would be a lot of effort for one card. Yeah, it would, but I probably would just make a generic like card insert into inventory animation. Probably just have like the artifact like pulse a little bit, and then the card comes out of it and like slides right into the inventory. Like a pop-up outline so it's not jarring to have the new card there. Yeah. As I see you do not use Godot extension for VS Code, may I ask why? I don't, I guess I just don't need it. I'm using C#, so I don't need like IntelliSense or anything, and I don't need to look at my scenes or anything inside of VS Code. Did anyone else get sad at the end of Charlotte's Web? I don't remember the story of Charlotte's Web. You can make a big spider with eggs on its back. Yeah. Hey, how do you import these files with a bunch of items like the artifacts in Godot? You add some offset for each sprite 2D. Yeah, so this is just I'm just using a texture atlas. So an atlas just being a single texture that contains a bunch of smaller textures. And so if you imagine each texture being its own thing as a 24 by 24 sprite, then I just draw everything in here and then use the atlas texture to determine which region of the texture to use for the image. And the only reason I'm doing that really is because I like to be able to see, when I'm making icons, I like to be able to see all of the icons alongside each other, so it's easier for me to match the style. It's much easier for me to like be consistent when I can see everything rather than everything being in individuals, right? That was a lot of a kid to take in. Blood webs. Going for alien face hugger egg theme. Oh no. The webs really sell it, does it? I think it looks all right. I don't know. I'm still kind of... This color here is making me weird. Maybe I'll just make it all... I don't know, man. I don't know how to make this look right. I just don't think it looks good. Forbidden omelet. Can make the egg open at the top like the face huggers one. Thank you for recommending Kanban. It's amazing. You're welcome. Do people here use VS Code for GDScript or just the Godot editor? I have used VS Code for GDScript, yeah. There's a lot of good reasons to use an IDE like VS Code, like the find and replace functionality is a lot nicer. I use the built-in editor. I don't like tabbing out too much, yeah. Can't really use the built-in editor for C#. I mean, you technically can, but... it's just not that great because you don't get the IntelliSense. Okay, so I have a meeting in a half hour that I need to get to, but let's just go ahead and I'm not done with this texture, but let's just add it to the game. Ah, shoot. Ah, dang it. Oh, I forgot. I need to do this. Okay. I'm going to copy this, go to the spider egg, paste it there, make unique. So this is the texture atlas, so I can do the region now. Edit region, and then I just select that, close. And we'll see what it looks like in game. I'm not done with that texture. I don't like that texture. I don't like it. I'm going to have to change it. But we'll see what it looks like. Spider egg. Adds a spiderling to your inventory after each combat encounter. Yep, it just looks bad. It just looks bad compared to the other icons there. So I'm going to need to think about that. Figure out a better way to do that. But it's a start. Only thing I remember about Charlotte's Web is being bored out of my mind. I remember it so vivid watching the first grade and telling myself that I had not seen a more boring movie until up to that point. Why couldn't we watch The Fox and the Hound again? Yeah. The one thing I hate about the Godot editor is the script view has the scene tabs on top of it. So the amount of times I'm in the wrong scene and then just pressing F6 is shameful. Yeah. The Godot UX leaves a lot to be desired. There's a lot of UX problems in it, but Fox and the Hound made me cry. It's goated. Should I be using an IDE? Yeah, I would. I mean, if you're Godot, the Godot editor itself is a kind of IDE. So if you're just using that, that's fine. But you definitely need an IDE for C#. Made me cry. Watership. Oh, Watership Down. Yeah, Watership Down is a good one. Watership Down. There's another one that's in that vein. Oh, the Plague Dogs. Anyone seen the Plague Dogs? Does happen. Okay, well, I need to go prep for my meeting. That's at noon. So I'm gonna end the stream there. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Again, if you want to support my work, you can check out the links in the description below. There's my Survivors course, which just disappeared. Thank you. Stream overlay. But yeah, appreciate you all being here, and I appreciate all your support. I may stream tomorrow. I'm not sure, so hit the notification bell to be notified if I go live. Otherwise, I will see you all back here on Monday, probably at the usual time, 10 a.m. Eastern. But yeah, thanks again, everyone. Have a good weekend if I don't talk to you, and I will see you in the next one.